Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
Welcome back. This is day 2, and we are talking about the 25 must-do things to make 2025 your best year ever. And we're just going to jump right in at point number 14, Julie Harris. Oh, I should say before we start, the notes for today's podcast, as well as every day's podcast, are available exclusively at harrisrealestatedaily.com. So if you're not a subscriber to the newsletter yet, you want to make sure you do that immediately. And the best part is it's free, and it takes like 5 seconds to do it. So just hop over to harrisrealestatedaily.com, drop in your email address, and then you have to go to your email and confirm that you want the subscription. And then all of our day's notes, as well as the podcasts and videos and other exclusive content, will be sent directly to you every single day. harrisrealestatedaily.com is our gift to all of you, our loyal podcast listeners, to keeping this the #1 listened to daily podcast for real estate professionals in the United States. So go ahead and subscribe now, harrisrealestatedaily.com. Julie, point number 14, and listeners, remember, we're picking up right where we left off yesterday. So if you've not heard the first 13 points, make sure you go and listen to yesterday's show. Point number 14 is upgrade your electronics.
That's right. So insure all of your devices, because as real estate professionals, you are pretty device dependent, aren't you? Your smartphone, your desktop, your laptop, your iPhone, your smartwatch, all of your things need to be up to date. That includes with your software. You know, maybe you're still using a tiny iPhone 6 or something like that. Upgrade everything. Some people are saying maybe as a result of tariffs, maybe not. Some things are going to be more expensive next year. Some of you need capital expenditures on your taxes. Go ahead and upgrade and invest in that for 2025.
Well, if for no other reason, that's a good idea, because it does feel kind of nice to have new stuff. And to Julie's point, you get to write all this stuff off, so maybe do that before the calendar turns over. We always, when we were selling real estate, well, even to this day, we do that every year. We'll just upgrade all of our stuff. And you can sell your old stuff, especially if it's Apple devices, for usually 50% of what you paid, which isn't great, but still off to the races. Point number 15, evaluate your lead sources. Now, this is a big point. So identify what worked in 2024 and what didn't. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example. So when we take on a new coaching client, the first thing that we ask them, and most of our coaching clients that Julie and I personally work with have been successful for a while, and they're selling dozens of houses, if not hundreds of houses per year. So we'll ask them what their lead sources are. And usually they have an idea, but they haven't actually studied it to the point where they can tell you exactly from this source, exactly from that source. Once we've moved past that lack of knowledge, then we drill down, and then what we look for are the consistencies. Now, I'll tell you right now what we always find with like 0 exceptions. Most agents after 5 years get most of their business from centers of influence and past clients. Not just past clients. You don't just get stuck there and discouraged if you're a new agent. Centers of influence are also a huge source of business. Okay, so then you'll have the other sources. Maybe they're getting some referrals. Maybe they're getting some business from maybe marketing and branding or whatever. But a vast majority of the agents that are in the business for the longest, making the most money, are definitely centers of influence and past clients. And then the challenge with that, by the way, is you always have to basically be adding in new folks to your centers of influence and past client list. And that's the reason that you always have to be lead generating. But that aside, so someone new comes to us and they say, Tim and Julie, I want to learn how to do marketing and branding. Or Tim and Julie, I want to learn how to do over-the-phone prospecting. And they've never done it before. Let's just say it's somebody that's basically been in the business for 10 years. They've gotten all their business from, let's say they're involved in the community. They're involved in their neighborhood. They're very good at basically letting folks know in a very respectful way that they're in the real estate business, and that's worked out really well for them. And now they decided that they want to, say, for example, build some big, real estate brand, and they want to be online real estate influencers. Well, what we'll do, again, after we've ascertained where their business came from, we'll ask them the secondary question, like, so what's the goal? Like, how many houses did you sell in the last 3 years on average? How many houses do you want to, then we'll do a business plan. How many houses do you have to sell to earn enough money to obviously pay all your personal bills, business bills, savings, all the other things? We'll add all these things up. We'll divide it by their average commission. In other words, what we're doing is Julie and I are taking the whole concept of evaluating your lead sources and we're personalizing it. Because then what we'll discover is that in most cases, most of you actually can increase your business usually by 20, maybe 30% by doing what you're already good at, but doing it 20 or 30% more or 20 or 30% more focused on it versus trying to essentially distract yourself with another form of lead generation, especially when it comes to passive lead generation. So I'm going to say that just so all of you are clear. If I'm talking to you and you're thinking about being in Julie's personal coaching schedule, and I'm asking where your business comes from, you said center of influence and past clients, and you're saying, well, what is it you want to do like for lead generation next year? And you say, I want to build a brand. What I'm going to do again is go through the math and help you to understand clearly that if your goal is to truly make more money and help more people, that the best return on your time investment isn't going to be doing something that's sketchy or risky or
speculative.
Speculative, thank you. It's going to be getting better at what you're already really good at. And hopefully that helps a lot of you to understand really where your focus needs to be when it comes to evaluating your lead sources.
Yes, and that gets to the heart of that point is what has worked that you can 10x or at least 2 or 3x, and what do you need to break up with that's just purely speculative that didn't work for you, especially if it costs you time and money.
But right there, you just touched on something else that's really important. How many of you guys are doing things right now that are purely speculative, hoping and praying that one day that lead source or that thing you're doing will generate leads, but it hasn't. And you keep on doing it. And yes, marketing and branding, I'm talking about you. If you anytime you're considering whether you should be spending money to make money, right? You need to ask yourself and make whoever it is that's trying to sell you the whatever, prove that whatever you're spending your money on is going to produce a usually 10x profit within 90 days or less. And if it won't, you shouldn't do it.
And also, because agents say this all the time, well, I made my money back on it. Breaking even is not the same because you lost your time.
Yeah, exactly. You're losing money actually when you just break even. That's not a return on investment. That's a surefire way to the poorhouse.
Yeah, that's right. Because there's always like that stray deal that you maybe can kind of attribute to it that makes you feel like you should be addicted, but don't do it.
It is fascinating how easy it is to overcomplicate real estate.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's really fascinating how much, I guess, humans in general want to believe that basically being very successful in this industry, and I guess, meander into, this is probably true with every business, it always comes down to the same things. You don't have to have these big complicated, anytime I see somebody on YouTube especially, and they're drawing these crazy ass graphs, so this leads to this leads to that, that's them just trying to intimidate you. They're just bullshitting you. Because that's not actually how real business works. And if it does work like that, it's going to fail because there's too many places where these multi-stage funnels that everyone loves to talk about. If you imagine how many steps there are and how many places there are for breakage in that funnel, and if your end goal is to ultimately generate revenue and obviously help folks, why would you overly complicate it? Why would you leave it your levels, your likelihood of success to so many
variables?
Yeah, exactly. This doesn't even make any sense. And you guys intuitively know all that, but because you don't have enough confidence in yourself as business owners, you fall prey to a lot of the people that are trying to sell you these overly complicated systems, which, oh, by the way, they need to set up for you and they need to manage.
For a fee.
For a fee.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, now that brings us to point number 16. Review your database. That's your past clients, your center of influence, your sphere. Review that communication system, because what we're talking about here is pretty common, where most agents, to your point, especially after 5 years and some level of communication, get most of their business from past clients and centers of influence. However, most of the time, that is, if we're being honest, luck and hopium versus having an actual system. Now, we have done dedicated podcasts about how to nurture and grow your database, your past clients, your sphere, and we do cover this a lot in Premier Coaching. So take your time as we end this year to review what has worked for you. Maybe you've got a really killer database that you do get some response from in terms of a newsletter or something that people have come to expect from you. But here's the rule. It cannot be only passive. You have to have some direct communication embedded in your past client system. Remember, 82% of transactions come from people who already know their agent. You've got to make sure you're honoring that 82%.
And if you're really wanting to supercharge your business going into the new year, follow Julie's advice that she just gave you with regards to point number 16, and make sure you're making phone calls to everybody.
And pop buys and events.
Right. Getting in front of them and reminding them that, guess what? You're here to help them in the real estate business. And then it's a perfect time of year to do it. Wish everyone happy holidays.
Well, all of our coaching clients are doing at least I hope all of them are, most of them are, the wrapping paper project.
Well, we have thousands of them, so
we do. And it's
that's
been
a lot of wrapping paper.
I can absolutely track listings taken from the wrapping paper project. So I'm just going to talk for 1 minute about that. All that is you go to your favorite, craft store, wherever, Even like Home Depot and places have
Well,
this, where it's all wrapping paper is on sale.
You can get it actually. I think
You can do Amazon.
Well, Amazon, but you can buy it wholesale online. But a lot of folks if there's a dollar store near you.
Yeah, perfect time of year. It's all on sale. It's like 50 cents or $1 a roll. Buy 100 of them. Outfit them with a candy cane or something cute on top. Most agents have a little saying like, friends don't let friends get wrapped up with the wrong agent. Stick with me. They put, gift stickers on there. If you're a Premier Coaching student, you can see that on our coaching sessions. Your fellow coaches and, coachees have their pictures of that. I have many examples from my own private coaching clients who did the door knock, did the wrapping paper drop off, had the conversations, not enough I had somebody tell me that they just flung them on the front porch. No, you are supposed to talk to people, and did take actual listings, many examples of that. So that's a great way to communicate in person and have some fun with that. Get 100 contacts out there. 100 roles means 100 contacts. You can use them in open houses, lead follow-up, pop buys of any sort. You can go to new construction with them. Lots of things that you'll hear about in Premier Coaching on that. Okay, number 17, you're going to love this one. Target 25 expired, withdrawn, and or canceled listings by the end of the year and contact them using our proven scripts. Aim for at least 5 listing appointments before year's end. I can virtually guarantee you that when you have actual conversation with 25, that probably 10 of them are gettable and 5 of them should set appointments with you, assuming that you use scripts and that you follow up, and you're doing a good job.
And obviously, we have all these scripts waiting for you over on Premier Coaching. So if you want to know and really, this is to Julie's point, perfect time of year to be going after expired listings, because there always are a ton of them at the end of the year, and other agents aren't working. And if you really want to know when the secret sauce, when to especially go after expireds, it's anytime there's a weekend that's over a holiday. Okay, so for example, do you have any of those coming up, dear listeners? Yes, you do, right? You're going to have Thanksgiving the entire week. Start calling expireds. Everybody's going to be home. And then really the last 2 weeks of December, but be mindful of the holidays. So that's when you're going to find everyone at home. People, for the most part, they're going to be in a good mood. And you're going to call them, and they're mostly going to say, when you follow our scripts, they're going to all say basically they're going to wait till after the holidays because it's so close to the holidays. But then you're going to follow our scripts and you're going to set appointments and you're going to deliver your pre-listing pack and you're going to start setting yourself up to go into the new year with new listings. And it does not matter whether you're an agent that's been in the business forever, only worked with buyers, or if you're a brand new agent, you've never taken a listing before, or especially if you're a very seasoned, grizzled, expired hunting listing agent, do not take the foot off the gas, because this is the best time of year, probably one of the best I think opportunities in the last 3 or 4 years to go after expireds, because there's so many of them. And frankly, a lot of the sellers that are expiring are some of the best listings, which, by the way, that's a script. Mr. Seller, sometimes the best listings don't sell, and it's probably not the reason you've been told. That'll be a nice way. It's part of our scripts that we teach you guys to use in Premier Coaching. If you want to sign up for Premier Coaching, we're giving you an early Christmas present. You can sign up for Premier Coaching for free. Just go to premiercoaching.com or just click the link below, and that gives you 30-day access for Premier Coaching, which does include a daily semi-private coaching call with a Harris certified coach.
All right, point number 18, or to-do number 18, similarly to 17, engage with 10 for sale by owners by the end of the year. Use our for sale by owners scripts, or unrepresented owners as we lovingly call them, to set at least 2 listing appointments. And to Tim's point, we're close to the holidays. Those appointments might be the getting to know you followed by the actual listing appointment after Christmas or something of that nature, but make sure you're the one who's talking to them. Remember, when the month changed from October to November, the whole world was distracted by the election. We also saw a huge increase in expireds during that week. Many of them have yet to be contacted. Same thing with for sale by owners. So point number 19, or to-do number 19, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Post your goals in the 5 areas of life that you can find in the Real Estate Treasure Map. Those areas are financial, family, physical, mental or spiritual, and educational. Have goals in those 5 areas of life. Talk about them with your spouse, your partner, your kids, and post them so that you will take them seriously. And we've done podcasts about that as well, where it's almost like be careful what you wish for, because when you're serious about it and you post it, you are far more likely to actually achieve those goals. Take a look. Some of you guys have done this every quarter, especially if you're a coaching client. Look at what you did accomplish And don't just cross it off. You've got to replace those goals.
And Julie, what is the real estate treasure map and how can they get it?
Yes, well, your real estate treasure map is your business and personal map to success. It's a business plan, but it's not the same as something you can just get for free on Google. It is very personalized to you. It talks about your finances, what your budget is, what your goals financially are. It gives you the math, and you talked about this a minute ago, where you figure out, and we do this with coaching clients too, but you can do it in the treasure map. It helps you figure out, based on your goals, how many transactions you do actually need to do based on your average net commission. It also gives you a schedule, which actually is point number 20, also based on the real estate treasure map. You go to premiercoaching.com. Should they text the word Premier to 47372 or premiercoaching.com.
All right, so let's go on to point number 20.
All right, also in the treasure map, post your schedule and set reminders. Ensure that you are doing your proactive lead generation, your meetings, your personal goals, that they are scheduled and supported by alarms and reminders. If one of your goals is to work out 3 times a week with a trainer, get it in the schedule, put a reminder, make the commitment. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. If you have committed to doing proactive lead generation for 2 hours a day from 9 till 11 a.m., make sure it's in your schedule. Post it, set reminders.
Now, here's the next point, 21, and this is probably one of the most important points of all the 25 points we've given you guys so far. Some of you are in desperate need of a real estate broker upgrade. One of the reasons that, it's 100%, your environment is the most important thing. That really is, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to express to you with regards to your brokerage. And if your brokerage hasn't prepared you for the changes with regards to exclusive buyers agency, if your brokerage hasn't basically been keeping up with technology and AI, if your brokerage, frankly, has been taking too much of the commission and not leaving enough for you to the point where you're kind of maybe even selling more houses but not making any more net profit, it's time to consider a broker upgrade. Julie and I joined with eXp Realty almost 6 years ago, and the reason we did it is because we knew it was the next natural step, the next natural progression in our coaching clients' careers. And it's more true now than ever. eXp has a fantastic luxury program. It's a fantastic program for new agents, brokerage for new agents, experienced agents, agents with teams, brokerages moving over. It's one of the best business decisions we ever made, for sure. So if you're ready to move over to eXp, upgrade your brokerage experience, we've made it very easy for you. You can click the link below and you can go to our eXp website for our group, or you can just text the letters EXP to 47372. Text the letters EXP to 47372. If you do that, we're going to text you back a link to that same website where there's a lot of great videos where you can learn about why so many agents are joining with Julie and I. Literally over 1,000 agents are joining with Julie and I every single year at eXp Realty. So again, just text the letters EXP to 47372. And of course, if you're ready to land the plan, you have yet to choose a sponsor at eXp Realty, and you'd like Julie and I to be your personal sponsors at eXp, you can text me directly at 512-758-0206. 512-758-0206. Yes, that is my actual text number. And then, just say, I'm interested in joining eXp, and we'll pick the conversation up from there. That is one of the best things all of you guys can do to really prepare yourself for the new year, because there's every reason to believe, and I think everyone will agree, there is going to be a surge of opportunity in the economy, but also specifically in housing going into next year. So many amazing things to be excited about. Inventory is increasing, interest rates are lowering. You're going to see Fannie and Freddie come out of conservatorship, which is going to create more mortgage opportunity. All the things that we've been hoping and praying for the last 5 years are finally going to come around the bend. So you need to be positioned perfectly to take full advantage of the new market. And we strongly encourage you to look at eXp Realty. And again, just text the letters EXP to 47372 if you want to learn more about our eXp Realty group. Or if you're ready to land the plane and you want to join and you're ready to choose Julie and I as your sponsors, text me directly at 512-758-0206.
All right, your to-do number 22, finalize your holiday plans, both business and personal. Review your event, travel, and celebration calendar to make this holiday season the best for you and your family. Plan your work days and plan your fun days for the rest of the year. And somewhere in between, you have things that you've said yes to. Remember our rule that we talked to you about a month ago, especially during the holidays, and particularly with past clients who ask you, Can you come to my event, my holiday event? Say yes more than you say no.
Well, we call that the yes game too. Now, unfortunately, if some people play the yes game with you, they can take advantage of you, so just keep that in mind who you want to share with.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely who you're playing the yes game with. But the yes game, again, is to essentially force you out of your probably more introverted nature.
Hibernation.
Exactly. Don't go in hibernation mode. It's so easy to do that when it's cold out. Believe me, we're from Ohio. We understand. Yeah. But again, some of you are more introverted, or some of you, frankly, are just out of the habit of conversing directly with in IRL, in real life with other folks. So anytime you get invited to do anything over the next, say, 60 days, you automatically say yes to it. And like I said, you better be careful who you tell, because guess what? If your 7 or 8-year-old finds out that you're playing the yes game, you have to say yes to everything, you're going to be doing a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise want to do.
Yes, that's right. Choose accordingly. All right. Point number 23. To do number 23, upgrade what we call your confidence boosters. We talk about this in the Harris Rules book that you can get on Amazon. But whether it's your new haircut, wardrobe, glasses, car, invest in upgrades that prepare you for your best year ever. We talked before about investing in upgrading your electronics, but the things that make you feel good on an appointment. I've had many coaching clients tell me that changing to a system, especially for our listing agents, where you've got 4 or 5 great outfits, where you look fantastic, you have confidence, your shoes are together, your hair's together, your watch, your nails, whatever it takes, so that when you walk out the door, you feel like the powerful listing agent that you want to portray, that you really are becoming. So think about what you need to upgrade. And that's fun too. All right, number 24.
I was going to meander into the health aspects of upgrading everything, and you guys might want to consider that too. I mean, every year, Julie and I do full body scans at a company called
Prenuvo, Prenuvo.
You should look into that. It's not that expensive, and they do it's a CT scan, isn't it?
I think this is an MRI. I mix those two up.
Yeah, I think it's
where they put you in the pod.
Yeah, but the one that doesn't have radiation. I think
right.
MRI, yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, so they do a full body scan from stem to stern. So you guys ought to consider that. Obviously you want to maybe look into hormone replacement therapy.
We're doing eyeball upgrades.
Well, we are. I mean, Julie and I are going to have, it's called premium lens replacement procedures done in January, where you Google that yourself, so we don't have to talk about it on the podcast, because it sounds definitely a little grotesque when you describe it.
Yuck.
But in essence, what we're going to do is have our actual lenses replaced in our eyeballs to make it so we don't have to wear glasses anymore. So you guys want to research that too. Again, not that expensive. It's something that hardly anybody knows about, but people have been doing it for years. I'll just summarize it. Like, Grandma's always had, she's had her lenses replaced because she had cataracts. Well, my mom had her lenses replaced. This was back when we were living in Texas. And she can see better than I can now. And I'm 30 years younger than her. She literally has 20/20 vision in her right eye. And she can see distances way better than I can. So what they did is they replaced her lens with a lens that made it so she could see distances really well. Now, the new lenses that they have come out with, I think in the last 5 years, can make it so you have 20/20 vision, distance, and all base, even close up, medium, and distance. So the old lenses that maybe Grandma would have had to replace her cataract-ridden lens, that was only, generally speaking, going to help her see close up or far away. So the new lenses, and these are called premium replacement lenses, they'll actually make it so you can see as if it was your real lens, distances in medium distance and close up. And you won't need to wear glasses anymore. And the way that, I'm 54, and the way that basically it's been described to me is you're going to go back to being able to see like you did when you were in your early 30s. So that's,
that's a great example of an upgrade, though, right?
Well, it is, but, that's just a thing. So Julie and I researched that for 2 years before we decided to do it. But so when you're going through the things that you're thinking about upgrading, sometimes it's the simplest of things. Your hairstyle, your clothes, like Julie said. We talked about electronic devices earlier, if that's in your budget. But you want to make it so that when you're looking in the mirror, you don't look like you looked in 2024. You maybe want to hit hard reset and have a whole new fresh approach to what 2025 is going to look like. Oh, you want, a 2025 version of you looking back, not the same version of you that's been looking at you for the last 5 years. It's all psychological at the end of the day. Sometimes it really does help you to get out of your environment. We talked about the environment of your brokerage before, but if you have time and if you have it in your budget, go on a holiday, go on a vacation someplace where you're going to be around people. Like, I remember the first time Julie and I left Ohio, and Ohio is exactly like most of you guys imagine it to be. But I remember the first time we went out to Southern California. I remember the first time we went to different places in the world, and we were around people our age, but were, raised in different environments, socioeconomically primarily. And their perspective on life, how they actually physically looked and acted, was it was massively different than where we came from. It completely and totally forced new software into our brains and caused us to start thinking bigger about what was possible. I mean, when Julie and I remember, like, for example, when we were, if you moved to like Central Texas and when we moved to like Georgetown, so a lot of the people in Georgetown where we used to live have lived there their entire lives.
Yep.
And they don't know, a lot of them, Julie and I would stumble across people that were just unbelievably exceptional people, but they don't know how exceptional they are because of the environment in which they're in.
It's called lack of exposure.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you were to take somebody like some of the people that we got to know at Orange Theory and some people that just are neighbors and whatnot, and you were to drop them into a different environment where they'd be exposed to other people that, they're exceptional in Georgetown, but if you had taken them and dropped them in Southern California, they'd have been exceptional in Southern California too, and maybe had more opportunities than they did in Georgetown. Bottom line is, and I'm not judging one or the other, I'm just saying, bottom line is that lack of exposure is something that all of us, usually accidentally slip into, and our environment is everything. Your environment are the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the people you hang out with, the neighborhood in which you live in. So if you find yourself being complacent and everything is starting to feel like Groundhog Day, I just gave you some breadcrumbs and what you can do to sort of shock yourself out of it. And by the way, you'll have fun doing it too.
That's right, and it is within your control. So point number 24, send 25 handwritten notes or cards if you have not already done so for the holidays. Express gratitude and holiday cheer by sending thank you cards, congratulation cards, holiday cards to past clients, people in your sphere, family, obviously, and pop by in person for extra impact. You can do the wrapping paper project or something similar. So that's a great project to make sure you do. And it honors the whole communicate with people more, get out there, don't be hibernating.
Here's an easier one, right? Or just in addition to that one, right? How about every day starting today, you start writing, I don't know, I'll say 5, okay? Whatever it's going to be, handwritten notes and mail them out. And everything that you're writing in the letter, the very short card, doesn't even have to be a foldover card, just something where you're going to show gratitude towards that person.
Something special.
Make a list of all the people that helped you in the last 12 months or 24 months if necessary. Write down what they did and just say, listen, Bob, I was just thinking about you. And a couple, like 6 months ago, you said this to me and I never really thanked you for it and had this impact on my life. You do those types of things. I promise you're going to be remembered. You want to create a real indelible brand. That's how you do it. You want to show class. You want people to love and respect you. That's how you do it. You show love and respect to them.
Very well said. All right. And last but not least, number 25 on our list of 25, enjoy your holidays and set the stage for your success. Use this checklist to position yourself for an incredible 2025. Celebrate the season and step into the new year with confidence. We've given you, I think every single listener can do every single thing on this list, don't you?
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly.
Well, you do have your dollar rolls of wrapping paper.
Not much. For $100 or less, you can do the list.
Exactly. So you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you're using this list and the notes from yesterday. And if you don't have the notes, make sure you go to harrisrealestatedaily.com and subscribe to the newsletter. In the meantime, we'll talk with you on the show tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.